In just over a week, Donald Trump will take office and become the first ever sitting cryptocurrency pro-president that there has ever been. Now, this is incredibly bullish for the longer term view of cryptocurrency, but what's going to happen in the short term, and why are people suddenly incredibly bullish on $350,000 for one Bitcoin? We're going to break down all the latest, what you need to know as the market heats up ahead of the Trump election. And with that being said, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you're updated with every single thing going on in cryptocurrency every day right here on the 2Bit Crypto channel. As always, thank you so much. Let's get into this video. So let's start here. The United States cryptocurrency regulation. What does it look like and what can we expect with a Trump administration? The reality is there are some pro-cryptocurrency states out there and there are some that absolutely think this is something that absolutely, definitely 100% should not be a thing. Now, we've obviously seen significant institutional investment on the back of those Bitcoin ETFs, Ethereum ETFs starting to move. But I thought this was interesting just to show exactly how much of the US simply has no regulation whatsoever. Now, unfortunately, unpopular, I don't know how you want to call it, I kind of feel that some regulation is okay, especially in the kind of Wild West pump.fun eras and things like that. I don't actually think this is a bad thing, but it shows you how much is in place and how much isn't. Now, what does that look like under a pro cryptocurrency president? Well, I imagine there will be a balancing of regulation. I think there will be some regulation to come in, and this necessarily won't be a bad thing. This will see massive inflows once again from institutional investment, whether that's Wall Street going to get in or many others, such as pension funds and many more. More recently, we've seen more and more states start to look at a strategic Bitcoin reserve. This is really, really important because this is going to drive further adoption, while at the same time, for us initial early investors, means that there is basically less Bitcoin for people to buy. Don't forget, Trump will also be the first sitting president that will actually have a token, World Liberty Finance. Now, the reason we have this is we're tracking if they're buying any altcoins. What are they purchasing right now? They made a few reasonable purchases of Ethereum recently, USDC as well, which could indicate that he's getting ready to purchase things. This, again, could absolutely be in line with what we think will be a Trump pump as we move towards that January 20th. But why is all of this important? And I guess why Trump coming to office is a big deal. Well, further states are now taking steps towards building Bitcoin reserves. We've seen many of them, as well as people like New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, all talking about how they can best strategically use Bitcoin. Well, the most recent one, Texas, among other states, are proposing bills to legally acquire Bitcoin. This is obviously a pretty big deal. So Texas seeks to advance its interest in digital innovation with a Bitcoin reserve, a bill introduced by Texas Representative Giovanni Carbolingo. If I got that wrong, I apologize. In December of 2024, purposes of establishment of a strategic Bitcoin reserve stockpile for the state. The proposal requires that the Bitcoin be stored in cold wallets for at least 5 years and prohibits the use of stored BTC for transactions outside of the state. So think about this. A strategic Bitcoin reserve for the US, 1 million Bitcoin over 5 years. But then within that, you've got so many states that are looking to take up those positions. And I think this has to be incredibly bullish. And therefore, I think we'll start a chain reaction as many other countries, businesses will all start to get on board with buying Bitcoin. Also, which is also very, very interesting as well, we have those FTX payments coming out as well. The reality is that this was delayed once again until January 20th. Now they need to fill out a W-8 BEN form, which ultimately is a tax withholding form within 30 days. And guess what? A KYC verification. Those who do not submit the tax form within a 60-day window will not receive their payments. I mean, you couldn't write this if you tried. And I think this is another way of just right now trying to really stomp the cryptocurrency innovation. I think Trump will just reverse this. I think this will definitely be, going back to this regulation standpoint, a point that I think will be made. All these people that lost money over all of these years, and the reality is the current administration, particularly Gary Gensler himself, failed many investors with this FTX collapse. So watch out for that. And if you are an FTX investor, let me know, because I'd definitely be interested to talk to you about how this is all played out and more importantly, what you're doing with your capital. Lots of people believe $16 billion are about to enter the cryptocurrency market, aligned to those people getting those FTX rewards back. Now, that's if they KYC and fill every form out they need to in the next 30 days and submit it before 60 days is out. Otherwise, they basically get nothing. I mean, it's absolutely wild to think about how that could play out. But if you think of it, therefore, in the kind of macro sentiment, you've got states as well as the US looking to get strategic Bitcoin reserves. You've also got a sitting president, or what will be a sitting president, with his own token. And you've got people calling the top of the markets already here. Well, guess what? There is more optimism than you might think. Lots of people predicting a $350,000 Bitcoin. Now, just for absolute transparency, I think this is a little bit wild. I don't know if we'll get this high. My view has always been around the 160 to the 180. Let me know in the comments down below, though, what your Bitcoin target is for this bull run. Lots of things are going to be going our direction. Definitely worthwhile thinking about. But lots of people playing out patterns and playing out what could happen with that strategic Bitcoin reserve. Again, with all the innovation that's going to come and hopefully the easing of regulation, particularly Paul Atkins coming onto the SEC as well, all could define us in a very good move. So the reality is, though, that's not why you're here. Why is the market going to move? What does it look like for this week? And more importantly, what is the current price analysis that we've got? Well, Bitcoin holding a pretty interesting price range throughout this weekend at a key support of around 94,000, just marginally down at 0.53 on the day. Now, if you take the Fibonacci on this, it starts to paint a pretty interesting picture. The 236 Fibonacci at 95,000 looks like a key level of resistance for us to break above before we start to head back into this price volatility zone that we talked about 2 weeks ago here on the channel. This ranges from anything from 96.6 all the way up to around 98,000. Also aligned to that is the 0.382 Fibonacci, which are two key price levels for us to break. Now, if we were to get some serious inflows on ETFs, and don't forget last week they actually had their second biggest outflow day in the history of those ETFs, well, we could start to see a significant push to the upside. We've got some mileage to get through, but if you were to take this as the daily and think about this from last week, only the pre-Christmas run, the 30th of December, we actually had a strong run all the way up, going back to that 102 range from a 91,000. Could we see, with the Trump desire on the way up as we head towards that 20th of January, which will be coming somewhere around here, could we even be seeing a retest of $100,000, quite possibly aligned to this Trump move? So we'll keep you posted, as always, in the description. The other thing to worthwhile that we're going to be talking about very soon on this channel will be what the Federal Reserve are doing, how are the money printers going to affect your cryptocurrency, and ultimately when are they going to turn on. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss an upcoming video that you definitely need for this bull market. As always, smash up that like button to a brand new all-time high, hit that subscribe button, and be back for the next video very soon. Take care.